morning, good afternoon, evening. Oh, good morning, good afternoon, evening, morning. What is it? Oh my God, did I just have a stroke? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. God, wherever you are. Can we just do this over? Where's my clicker? Anyway, thank you guys for joining me again for another community chat session. Hopefully, my brain will function. If you're new here, welcome. I promise I'm not this scatterbrained. I'm just a little scatterbrained, not this scatterbrained. But anywho, we appreciate you being here. Welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator and full-time brain scrambler. My channel here is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through this channel, I share with you guys everything that I have learned thus far in my own journey to getting to where I am now, 5 years in, a little over 5 years in now. If you're not new here, then you know that every week in these community chats, we get together and discuss some particular topics. And today, the poll is, if I can find it, in your opinion, what is the least important thing to focus on? I know there was a lot in the beginning when you're starting any business, right? You're starting your VO business and there's just so much information, so many things to do coming at you all at one time. But looking back, what do you think was the least important thing to spend the most time on, obsessing over, researching? What was the thing that you probably didn't need to focus so much on? And the point of this question is to help anyone just getting started to maybe not focus so much on those things. There are probably more important things to be spending your time on. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I wanted to know what you guys thought. Kind of a trick question for the options in the poll because there are so many things to focus on, right? That seem important, but maybe not so much. So far we have 25 votes. And we got 4% of you said training or demo. 8% of you said recording equipment or your DAW, right? Learning them. 80% of you, wow, this is surprising to me, I have to say. 80% of you said headshots and bio. And 8% of you said website and social media. Interesting. Well, my answer to this question would be the recording equipment, I think. I think this is sort of a trick question because I lumped in DAW with your recording equipment. But your DAW is important, I think, to learn because it's software that you're going to be using every day, all day, every day, right? But I think training is probably one of the more important things to focus on in the beginning for sure. Training and your recording space, not so much your equipment. I think we spend a lot of time focusing on what kind of mic, what kind of interface, right? Not the DAW so much, but the mic and the other stuff that goes along with it. That stuff isn't as important, right? As I think training. Training is probably more important than what kind of mic you have. Your recording space is definitely more important. The headshots and bio, another kind of a trick question because your bio, I think, is more important than your headshots. Because having a picture of yourself, I think, is important, but what you're wearing or where you are or having a professional photographer taking the headshot, I don't think is as important. I've been using a picture I took with my cell phone for years. It's just a picture of me in my studio, right? But the bio, I think, is important because it gives a little bit of insight into who you are as a person, that you are a genuine real life person, right? And some of the experiences that you've had throughout life, which could help you land a job. You never know. Your life experience builds into your voice acting experience, right? For example, like if you were in a previous to VO, if you were in the I don't know, you were in the health and medicine field, medical, right? So you understand terminology better than an average Joe. You might be hired over someone else for medical narration because you understand what this terminology is, what it means, what it's used for, how to pronounce it correctly. So I think the bio is a little bit more important than the headshots, right? But your website and social media, I think those are important. Maybe not day one, but eventually, sometime in the beginning, I think having a website is important because once you start building all of the profiles to find voiceover work, if they want to search for you or they just happen across you on social media, right? Another thing to think about in the beginning is creating some social media profiles for yourself. But if the client finds you on a platform or social media, they need somewhere to go to find out more about you, to contact you, to hear you, right? In action, right? I think a website is an important thing to have. But I think we spend a lot of time, in my experience working with people, we spend a lot of time in the beginning worried about what kind of microphone, what kind of interface. That doesn't really matter as much as the actual recording space that you're recording in, getting the training, the knowledge, understanding the terminology, understanding maybe what your hardware does, but it's not so much the microphone itself, I think. Because, as you go along, you'll probably upgrade it anyway a couple of times, right? Once you start to make some of that voiceover money, once you start to have that income coming in. But I just wanted to see what you guys said. So now we're up to 35 votes. A lot of votes this morning so far. That's awesome. So 71% of you, still a vast majority of you said headshots and bio aren't as important. Okay. Let me get my brain in gear here. Let's see who's in the comments. Oi. All right. Let's see who's first in. Rustic Hillbilly is first in today. Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. Ryder Dude. Good morning, Keith. How are you? Caesar. How you doing, Caesar? You feeling better? I hope you're feeling better. Can't say for sure what is least important. I know, I made it sort of a trick question. But I started with training, then equipment, then branding. Branding is another thing important to consider in the beginning. Fumbled about a bit, then DAW, then everything else. Stumbling about in the dark, basically. I don't think you're stumbling about in the dark. I think you're doing okay. And I think, to your point, there isn't one specific way or one specific path to building this voiceover career, right? Or any online business for that matter, because as long as you can get the chunks done, right? You have a lot of things that you need to accomplish and you chunk those down into little chunks and you get those things done. As long as you get those done in the beginning, it doesn't really matter what sort of, order that you get them done in, as long as you can get them done, right? But just the point of this conversation today, again, was to maybe help you to not focus so much on one thing when one of the other things might be more worthy of your time in the beginning, right? But branding, to your point, branding is also important because branding comes into when we're talking about your website or social media for that matter, or even building out the profiles on freelance marketplaces, namely Fiverr. Branding is going to be in your color palette. It's going to be in the design or the template that you use for your thumbnails, for your gigs. It's going to represent you, your logo. All of that stuff is going to be sort of cohesive and be a brand for you. So that is something else to consider. What is your business name going to be? Right? All of that stuff is important too. Caesar says, then that being said, hello, Angela. Hello, Caesar. Hello, everyone. I decided to have steak and eggs for breakfast for absolutely no reason. You don't need a reason to eat steak and eggs for breakfast. Do it. I would. I absolutely would. Ryder Dude says, I can see where there will be a lot to learn as you go, so to speak. In the beginning, you simply have to find out what you don't know. But minimally, I would find a basic guide of some sort helpful. There is a lot that you don't know, which is why I say to join groups, join a mastermind, join, get to be a part of another collective or group of people that do this so you can pick up on the things that you don't know, right? Or hire a coach, hire a mentor, just immerse yourself in it so you can start to pick up on the things that you probably didn't know, right? Having a group or a mentor or a coach is important in the beginning to learn those things. It's not so much what mic you choose. It's not so much what interface you choose. It's not your recording space, and learning these things from someone who knows, I think, is more important than even headshots or bio, right? I feel there's a lot of tangents just bubbling at the surface. They're trying to get out. Fiber Jazz says, greetings. This is a toss-up for me. Spending money on a demo before even ready, not good, but training could be better startup value than headshots. Yet decent bio is important and not expensive. Exactly. A bio is free. A demo, I say DIY that demo in the beginning. I'm a firm believer in that. Because again, if you've never heard me say this before, if you spend, and keep in mind, demos are not cheap. If you have somebody create one for you, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to have a demo made. And then the price point that you land at is going to depend on if whoever's creating the demo for you writes a script, if they coach you through the demo, or if you just supply them the clips and then they, master them and put them all together with music and sound effects. But if you have a professional demo made before you're even ready, before you have your DAW dialed in, you have your recording space dialed in, if you can't replicate the sound quality that's in your demo that you present to the client representative of what you can do, that's going to be a problem, right? So DIY your demo in the beginning, create your own, because that is truly, honestly, authentically representative of what you can do. And inherently, as you go along, you just naturally get better and better and better as you learn these things, and you learn what your DAW can do and how to use it and to fine tune your recording space. And you get training to get just better with voiceover in general. Then you can refresh your demos, right? Create a new one yourself, which is representative of what you can do that sounds better. And every time you do that, it'll just get better, better, and better. And then somewhere down the road, if you want to, have that professional demo made, because at that point, you might be able to replicate the sound quality and everything else that's in it. I think that was tangent number one. But yeah, headshots, I mean, again, use your cell phone. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think we overthink a lot, right? But you're right. I think a bio is more important than a headshot. MG Stevens is here. Good morning. Good morning, Angela and everyone. This was a hard question to go back and think about because I did little bits of lots of things at the beginning. Yes, you do. Business owners wear many hats. Yes, we do. We wear lots of hats. This is a 24/7 gig, right? You create your own schedule, but it's always full. There's always something to do. Barb Cam is here. Good morning. Morning, Barb. MG Stevens says, I definitely spent least amount of time on headshot bio. I looked through pics I had, found one I liked, and started using it for everything. I plan to get a professional one done in the next 6 months. Oh, that's cool. Right on. How is this for I don't know, is this sad that I live with a professional photographer and have yet to have headshots done? There you go. That's my feeling on it. Sally is here. Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Angela from Pensacola. Been a long time. Glad to be back. Hope you're well. Yep. Doing great. Feeling great. I hope you are as well, Sally. Glad to see you back. Brandy Hamilton is here. Good morning from Idaho. Good morning, Brandy. Kevin. Good afternoon, Kevin. It's still morning for me here. Pamela is here. Good morning, Pam. How are you, darling? Kind of a which limb would you like to lose kind of a scenario. Yeah, I tried to make it a challenging poll for sure. I do have concern regarding headshots. Grandma doing spicy doesn't always work in the mind's eye. You know, I have seen, and I think some of these people have seen some success in doing this, but if you are uncomfortable with photographs of yourself or just maybe want to stay sort of behind the curtain, so to speak, you can have a caricature of yourself made. And then with that caricature, you could kind of control what it looks like for the most part, right? But I think this psychology of seeing, the whites of the eyes of the person that you're working with is definitely helpful, in choosing someone to work with. I think we do the same thing. I think we're just gravitating towards more than just a profile picture of a car or a pet to more of, the actual person so we can see who it is that we're working with. I think it's just a human thing to do. But yeah, we could always have a caricature made. Am I more saturated? Am I? Thank you. Am I more saturated? I don't know. I haven't changed any settings since. It does look a little bit brighter, more colorful. I didn't change any settings. I don't know. Maybe it's my new graphics card that I had to replace a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I don't know. Chrissy says, Angela, your hair always looks so good. Oh, thank you. It's I don't even know. It's like a Costco brand of shampoo. I don't even know. But thank you. Pantene. You guys are funny. Writer Dude says, is it reassuring that I am not the only one who has a more coffee moment now and then? I think, yeah, I think that's reassuring. And even if you were the only person in the room that needs a more coffee moment, so be it. It is what it is. I own it. Wear it like a badge of honor. I love my coffee. Kevin says website. You think the website is the least important? Fiber Jazz says, has anyone used a painting or illustration of yourself in lieu of a photo? I know people who have. As long as it's you, your face, for the most part, I think that works. I know some people that have had some success with doing this, with using caricatures or some sort of a illustrated, not illustrated, but like a well, I guess it is illustrated, a version of yourself as a photo. As long as it's you and not like your car or your pet or like a landscape or something. Brianna says, I chose the wrong one. Don't vote and drive, kids. Yes, don't vote and drive. Yeah, avoid spending so much money in the beginning. It makes the slow beginning much harder because you feel like you should be further along than you are. That is a great point, because the psychology of dropping a ton of money in the beginning, and then you're like, and then a few months down the road you're like, well, I'm not seeing any return on all of this money that I've spent. Of course not, because you're building a foundation of a business and that takes time. Sometimes that takes months. Sometimes that takes a year or more, right? It's not something that you can just jump into and see a return on within a week or so. But you're right. Don't spend a whole lot of money in the very beginning. I mean, I think the most important thing in the beginning, and the thing to spend money on, is not so much the equipment. Again, your mic and your interface, that stuff isn't as important as treating your space. So in the beginning, focus on where you're recording and spend the time and focus and energy on that and the money on that, on making it sound good with the equipment that you have. And also look into groups, masterminds, mentors, those sorts of things. Because again, I think those things will take you much further in the beginning, and I think relatively more cost effective than dropping a ton of money on an expensive microphone or just trying to wing it. You'll get further faster, I think, is what my point is. It's a better bang for your buck in the beginning, I think, than buying the most expensive microphone or whatever it is, or the demo, or the headshots, or any of that stuff. I think your your focus and your time and your money are better spent with those as your focus than with all the other things. Sean Short. Hello, Sean. Good morning. I just published my site this morning. Oh, your website? Good for you. Awesome. Masonry Constructions here. Use whatever equipment you have and do that now. No equipment? Volunteer as a storyteller at the library. Join Toastmasters. Practice the skills of VO. Equipment is secondary. Just do it. Couldn't have said it better. If I did, it would be much longer and much more verbose. Would have been a tangent, but perfectly summed up. Just go out and do it. Just practice, get training. I mean, what microphone you have is not as important. Just do it. Just do it. Phil says, "Hey, Angela. Hey, all. Hey, Phil. How you doing?" Fiber Jazz says, "Short to Sean Short. Yay, congrats. Absolutely. Celebrate that." Elaine says, "A bio might be important for defining yourself and branding your unique skill as you are offering." Oh, for sure. I'm when it comes to the headshot and bio selection, your bio is definitely more important than your headshot, I think. For sure. Dwight is here. Good morning, Dwight. Morning, Angela and fellow Angelistas. Oh, I like that. I think I like Angelistas better than Angelinas or Angelinos from Nursemaid Central. Can't wait to get back with you all doing VO 100% of my time. Well, you will get there, my friend. Phil says branding, marketing, social media are my Achilles heel. Why is that? Is it because it's overwhelming, intimidating, time consuming, tedious? Why do you feel that way, Phil? Why do you feel that way? Are you, believe me, as an introvert, I understand the fear of making yourself visible, but it's part of having a business. You have to market your business. You have to let people know that you're there, that you're available, how to contact you. Otherwise, you're just another face amongst a sea of millions of others. I mean, it's unfortunately part of the deal, right? Is making yourself visible. So I understand that it's scary, but necessary, unfortunately. Eric is here. Hello, Eric. Hello, hello. It's difficult to label which is most important. That was by design. They all have their place on the roster, and at different times, their positions will change. Mhm. As I said before, at the beginning of this, there's all of these things are important in their own right, but to Eric's point, in the order in which you do them, there really isn't a particular order to in which you do them. Well, obviously, you have to have your recording space and your equipment before you can really start practicing or doing all of those other things. But what type of equipment is really not important. But as all of those things are done towards the beginning, so as long as you can get them all done, and there really isn't a time frame to have them all done either. Hmm. I my brain wants to go travel down, like, several different roads, but, you're right, Eric, they all have their place on the roster of things to do. But if you had to go back and look at what you did in the beginning, what would be the thing that maybe you focused on that really didn't need all of the time and attention that you gave it? I guess is what the poll is. Speaking of which, Let's go see where we're at with the poll. Again, today the poll was, in your opinion, what is the least important to focus on when starting your VO business? And we've got 43 votes now. Still, 65% of you said headshots and bio. 7% of you said training and demo. I'm glad that the least of you said that, because I think out of all of those, the training, not so much demo, but the training is more important, I think. And then your recording equipment, 12% of you said that was the least important. The recording equipment, the type of equipment, I think definitely is the least important. Learning your DAW is important, but again, the type or which DAW you choose is not that important. You could go with Audacity. That's free. It's free to download and use. Why not? It doesn't matter which one you use. Just learn them. And then 18% of you said website, social media as the least important to focus on. Interesting. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the comments we left off on. Eric. Where'd you go, Eric? Oh, so many comments. Here we go. Queen Penguin? Is that what that is? Woke up at 4 a.m. the other morning to begin day 1 of recording my demos for the first Fiverr gig, and hear lots of people popping in the lots of popping in the recording. If you're hearing popping in the recording, that could be, it sounds almost either, it could be electrical, something's crossed. It could be something in your settings. It could be your cables. It could be a number of things. So try unplugging and replugging in everything. Make sure that you don't have a bunch of cords bundled together. Just make sure that everything's plugged in completely. I'm not by any means any kind of professional audio engineer person or IT person, but those are the things that I would probably do if I had some popping in my recording. Or it could even be your DAW. Maybe I would even try removing it completely and re-downloading it, perhaps. I don't know. It could be a number of things, but don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you. Keep going. Figure it out what it is. I mean, I've been through lots of different speed bumps during the course of my time in doing this with the computer, and the DAW, and learning all of this stuff. And you will learn it. Google, ask questions, find the answer, figure it out, but keep going, right? If I can replace the graphics card in my PC all by myself, I didn't pay someone to do it. I did it. And I never thought that I would be a person to be able to do that 5 years ago. So don't let that stop you. Figure it out. You can do it. You got this. Glawin is here. Good afternoon. VoiceOverAngela in chat. Hope you're all having a great day and your coffee is strong and hot. Strong, yes. Hot, no, unfortunately. Coffee pot is on a level above me. It's a long walk. I need to have a coffee maker in here, like a Keurig or something. Eric says I'm at least important. Let me go back to your other comment. You weren't this far up, were you? Where are you? Positions will change for least important. Yes. I know what you mean. I'm there with you. Dwight said, currently I am working with my Fiverr logo creator to get that finished up while I can't record. Website creation next with placeholders for demos. Good. Just keep moving forward. I did the same thing. I had someone on Fiverr create my logo for me and my animated logo, and I love it. Queen Penguin ruled out the XLR, may need to replace the interface. Oh, no. Oh, Scarlett 2i2. I've heard, I'm not bashing Focusrite. I have owned a few different Focusrite products, but I have heard particularly the 2i2 does, once it's about to go out, it starts to pop. So yeah, it might be time. It might be time for a new one. Phil says to Caesar, now you got me drooling. What are you guys drooling about? What did I miss, Caesar? What are we talking about, Caesar? Saturated? Is that what we're talking about? I hope not. It'll make me all what? Moving on. Spoolstead. I'm still trying to get started, but I'm nervous and not exactly sure where to start when broke. Um, if you're not exactly sure where to start and have no money to start with, at the very least, start to join some Facebook groups. Join Facebook groups that VO community type, voiceover community type Facebook groups, and start learning. Start being a sponge and taking it all in, and then read out loud everything that you encounter, like even your shampoo bottle. Read it out loud. Start to grab a book off your shelf, read it out loud. Start to practice and to you know increase your lung capacity. I mean, all of these things are important and they're free. They're absolutely free. Start getting some practice under your belt and start learning some terminology. Be a lurker, a Facebook group lurker. Caesar says, when it comes to equipment, though, I know I have more microphones than I need, and that's a bad thing. Much like Sean Lester, big up, Sean. But I love voiceover gear as much as I love voiceover work. Yes, I've had to rein myself in a few times with microphone purchase. I I have a couple. I have a couple of backups, is what I tell myself. But I'm trying hard to not become a collector because that is an expensive hobby. Glowen says, on the Poll HO's website, being trained in the craft, creating a bio with a good pick is important to me. And as I'm still in the educational phase, the website hasn't seen any time yet. Definitely get the website up, though. It doesn't really matter in, again, what order that you do these things, but I do think a website is important. We live on the internet. So it's where you live, basically. That is your digital home base on the internet. So having a website, I think, is important. Fiber Jazz says to Queen Penguin, yikes, good luck resolving those pops. Yeah, now that you said it could very well be the interface. Caesar says, which become a problem when it came to budgeting, as room treatment is nowhere as sexy as shiny new microphone. For sure, I understand that, but it's more important than which microphone. I'm finishing my room treatment this month, but also eyeing a sexy new mic. No, rein yourself in. Rein yourself in, Caesar. Queen Penguin says, thanks, Fiber Jazz. Totally bummed out. That would be my guess, is the Scarlet. Amanda says, hi, guys. Popping in before my next 9 to 5 meeting. Sad face. I've been so appreciative of all the advice and chit chat. Hope I get to chime in again soon. We all know you got to do what you got to do, but I'm glad that you popped in to say hi. Hopefully you can catch this on the replay. But thanks for taking a minute to pop in. Caesar says to Phil, I'd give you some, but I ate it. Oh, the steak and eggs. Glowen says, in Atlantic, Canada, I priced getting a professional demo done. I almost choked over 10,000 K. DIY is what it will be. Mm-hmm. You guys are laughing at me. Yeah, laugh at me. That's fine. I'm an idiot. That's fine. But to Glowen's point, this message here, yes, definitely DIY in the beginning. So you're more transparent and your demo will be representative of what you can do, right? Because we don't want to tell the client we can do all of this special, shiny, fully mastered, professionally produced stuff. And then when we give them their finished VO and it sounds nothing like the demo, that's going to be a problem, right? Yeah. Facebook user, this is Allie. Good morning, Allie. Good morning. Good morning. Jim is here. Joey Bag of Donuts. Hello, Angela and everyone. I focused least on my headshot, etc., because I'm so handsome. They would have been attracted to many new. It would have attracted many new clients to me. I was untrained and naive. Handsome. Blah. And again, touching on the headshot thing, it doesn't have to be a professional headshot. You don't have to go in and get your glamour shots done. I think for your personal opinion, for your profile picture, just have maybe a nicer shirt on. You don't have to wear a suit or a dress or anything super uptight. I mean, because you're not a financial advisor, you are a voice artist, right? Have something sort of casual and candid, but friendly. You don't want to have a smiling face, see your eyes, you know. That's just what I think. I think it has a psychological effect on us as consumers to see who we're working with, right? J Spa is here. Hi, Angela. I'm new here. I've watched many of your videos. Do you have one on how to DIY a demo with Adobe Audition? I want to say yes. I want to say yes. I think maybe. I've got a lot of videos. I've got over 100. I'm not sure, but I want to say yes. I think so. There is a search utility on within a channel, right? So you can pull up a specific channel. I think you can just search, like in the search bar, search my videos for a specific term. I think you can. I want to say yes. If not, I'll double check and I'll have to make one, I suppose. Caesar says, also, I just realized that I love making DIY demos. I'm taking my experience with video editing and using it to create skits and samples just for practice. But the output is incredible. That's awesome. Maybe you could help others with your video editing and DIY demo making skills. Could be something else that you could offer. Just a thought. Dave says, Dave G from Cali, trying to learn Audacity. Hey, Dave, I'm also from Cali. Audacity is come a long way. Just in the last few years since I have used it, 4 or 5 years ago now, I think. It's been updated quite a bit, so it's a lot more user friendly than it used to be. But I think what's his name? Mike Russell on YouTube has some videos on Audacity. I know there's a handful of VO artists and audio engineers that have great tutorial videos here on YouTube about specifically working with Audacity. So you'll get it. Just practice a lot with it and take in all those tutorial videos that you can. But stick with it. Caesar says, I used to waffle about with demo creation because I had to get over issues, hating my voice, self-doubt, unwillingness to tap into creative skill. But once all that was gone, I became unstoppable. Good for you, Caesar. Unstoppable, Caesar. Tess is here from Dracula. Thank you, Tess. I love it. I love it. Joy says, good morning. Hey, Joy. I started with equipment, recording space, then training. I just figured my presence on the platforms I signed up on was good, but I know I need a website. Definitely. Having a presence on all the platforms and then also having a presence on social media and then having a presence on the interwebs via your website, all those things are important to be found, right? Because again, we live on the internet. Almost everything we do is on the internet or relates to it, we use it for something, daily. So be there, have a home base on it. Fiber Jazz says to Caesar, to me and others, what camera do you use? Haven't done video yet. And don't know what camera would be good for podcasting without needing to go out and rob a bank. I've used Logitech cameras, webcams, forever. I take that back. I had a DSLR at a Sony A5100 that I used for YouTube for a little bit. But I found that it overheated and has turned off on me like an hour in. The camera that I use now is a Logitech Brio. When it first came out, it was very expensive, but I waited a couple of years and the price came down, as usually what happens. And I want to say it was like $60, but when it first came out, it was like $300-400, something crazy. But you could get a pretty decent camera, a Logitech camera for, I don't know, what, $50 or less, maybe? And this one's capable of 4K. I just don't have 4K capabilities on my on StreamYard, but so it's a pretty darn good camera for what I paid for it. Phil says, I opened an Instacart, Instagram, TikTok, and even Fiverr yesterday. And I still don't want to do, and I still don't know what to do and how it's going to work. Just take one bite at a time, Phil. One step at a time. These things are all tedious things to do. They all take time to set up, but once they're set up and done, it's just maintenance from there on out. So give yourself some grace, have some patience, and just take one chunk out of that elephant at a time, right? Work on Instagram. Then the next day, work on TikTok. The next day, work on Fiverr. And Fiverr will take probably a little bit more time than anything else because there is a lot to fill out and a lot to adjust and a lot to tweak and a lot, but one step at a time, Phil. Caesar says, in fact, I'm beginning to think I should offer both audio cleanup and demo production as a Fiverr service. That is exactly what I'm getting at. Do it, Caesar. Do it, Caesar. Queen Penguin says, to Fiber Jazz, I have a Sony ZV E10 and it works well for me. What is that? Is that a DSLR camera or is that a webcam? Caesar says to Fiber Jazz, mobile phone cameras are incredibly capable these days. He's right. They are. And I would highly recommend maximizing that before moving up to DSLR. When you do, start with a vlogger cam like a Sony ZV-1. Fiber Jazz says, thanks to Queen Penguin. Caesar says, beautiful recommendation, Queen Penguin. Even the onboard microphone is very usable. Ryder Dude says, I met a real estate agent who still uses a picture of himself from 20 years ago. As you will see, very few clients or customers in person or on Zoom. For some platforms, a younger picture might be okay. For the most part, yeah, I think so. Because you're not going to see many of these people online, right? Unless you're hired for a live directed session. But how many clients is that? Fiber Jazz says, thanks for the advice, Caesar. What mic would you use with your cell phone? Or would you record separately and then try to sync? Glowin said, is that Bad Cop Eric or Cruise Director Eric? I think that is Cruise Director Eric. I think that's who we got today. For the DIY demos, I'm sorry, MG Steven says, for the DIY demos, what sources do you recommend for the background music sound effects and costs? There is a lot of different sites that offer music either in Creative Commons or that are free, royalty free, but some of these sites will stipulate that you have to credit the content creator or you have to donate or you have to do there's fine print for most of these. But the biggest problem that I have found by using free content for music and sound effects is that you're more apt to find yourself in a copyright battle. Because not so much for what you're doing, but if someone else takes and uses the same music that you do, but then they try to copyright it when they shouldn't be, then that claim is against you, right? Until that's all sorted out. And without any kind of license or, proof that this is royalty free, Creative Commons, that sort of thing, it could be an ongoing battle and you might have to change out the music and sound effects. So it's a lot of extra worry and trouble that for me wasn't really worth it. So what I did is I went to storyblocks.com. I use all of their digital assets. I think you could do it monthly or annual. I think annually it's like $300, but I use everything there. They have After Effects, they have still images, they have looped video, they have sound effects, they have music. But keep in mind, I do a lot with meditations, podcast editing, video creation. I do all of that stuff. So I need all of those assets. And with that subscription, of course, comes the license. So if any of my clients or if I ever have an issue, a copyright claim, all I have to do is provide my license and it's cleared up within literally 5 minutes with YouTube, typically, right? So that is why I do that. Just for that peace of mind, it's one less thing to have to worry about. I know everything is A-okay. Coley Cole Life says, "Good morning, Angela from Vegas." Morning, Nicole. Caesar, I had tacos for breakfast and for no reason at all. I thought the mic was most important at first, but now I think the training is most and mic is least. I'm right there with you, Nicole. Because like Caesar says, it's sexy to have a super sweet mic. For sure. But it's not as important as perhaps training, coaching, learning what you don't know, right? To better set up that foundation to move forward, right? To build a business on a stronger foundation. Phil says, "They're my Achilles heel because I'm just not good at marketing." How do you know that? How do you know you're not good at marketing? It's time to turn on the air conditioner. It's getting hot in here. Marketing is not it's something else that is not like something that's going to happen right away. It's something that takes time and consistency. 90 days is what I'm hearing is typically when you'll start to see a return on your marketing efforts is around 90 days. So this is definitely everything about this business is not a sprint. It's a marathon, it's commitment, it's time, it's patience, it's consistency. It's something that you continually have to work at, right? Reaching out to people to promote my book and all. Even after opening an Instagram, TikTok, and Fiverr, I still don't know what to do. Just keep working at it and filling them out and working on them and creating content. Consistency, perseverance. Just keep going, Phil. Caesar to Fiber Jazz says, "If you plan on miking yourself up in the field and narrate in real time, a Rode Wireless Go is a valuable piece of kit. Otherwise, you can always record audio after shooting. Yep, and make a voiceover for your voiceover." Queen Penguin says to MG Stevens, "YouTube audio library if you want to try the free route." Yep, YouTube has a great studio. What is it called? YouTube Studio, right? Where they have a bunch of digital assets there to use. MG Stevens says, "Thanks to Queen Penguin." Caesar says to Coley Cole, "Tacos. I need to make those for lunch. Got ground beef and shredded lettuce in the fridge, all ready to go." Training definitely more important than mics. Most mics very usable these days. Yeah, mics, you can't, yeah, I'm not going to say that they're all fantastic because I haven't tried them all and I can't really say that. But I know that with technology, the advancement in technology, they just get better and better inherently as they're revised, researched. Gary Micheloni says, "Oopsie, I misread the question as most important instead of least important." Details. Huge difference. Least important is headshots, and I'm a marketing guy. There you go, right from marketing guy. Headshots is least important. Tony's voice says, "I would add, don't pay too much attention to how much money other people are making." Yes, this is your journey, and it will be different from everyone else's. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Tony, because you can't compare your path to someone else's because there's so many variables in this. There are so many variables to everyone's journey. So you can't legitimately compare yourself to another person because they might have started 2 years prior than, to you, or a month, or everybody's journey is so different. The time they can spend, and you can't. Yeah, don't do that because you'll just make it so much harder on yourself, and it's just not real because everybody's path is different. I feel that tangent coming. I'm reeling it back in. Caesar says, "I was able to replace my graphics card on my own. Then my neighbor came by and was like, 'Hey man, have you seen my graphics card?'" It's funny. Fiber Jazz says to MG Stevens, Audio Jungle and Premium Beat have royalty-free options. I think there was also Envato Mix Kit, Orange Planet, Purple Planet. What are the names of those places? But having a dry demo can be good too. Gives potential buyer a chance to focus on your voice without masking with sounds and music. That is a great point because I have heard from clients that the music could have potentially been added to the demo to cover up bad audio quality, right? So having a demo that's either way or both ways, you could have two different demos, one, dry and then one with music and sound effects, just to show that you're not covering up anything. Right. Or you might have it too loud and it just drowns out your voice altogether. And then they don't get an accurate representation of what you can do because all they're focusing on is just the music. Right. JCC AOL says, Angela, with the approach I am doing, I definitely think the equipment is the first priority, but having a website I think is huge, as that is where people will see your demos, picture, and biography. Yep. And contact you. And you could also, if you wanted to, I don't have my rate card on my website, but you could also include, your rates on your website too, if you wanted to. But it shows that you're a real person, that you took the time to build a website, right? It's a home base where they can find out more about you, listen to you, and contact you. For sure. Fiber Jazz says, meant to say audio jungle. Audio jungle. That's what I thought you meant, audio jungle. Yeah, there's also no, Pond 5 you have to pay for. There's a handful of places where you can get music, but just read the fine print of all of them. Lorraine Arams says, what website is best? WordPress is free, but is very challenging. I can't say which is best, but I can tell you that I use Wix and I absolutely love it. There hasn't been anything that I have found that I could not do with my Wix website. And I think all of them have a free basic sort of like a range where you could have a website. It could be yourwebsite.com/Wix. It'll have some of the host's branding in it. And if you don't mind that, then that's free, right? But if you want to remove their watermarks and remove their logos and their branding, and then also include some other features like video embedding and like an audio player or a video player, those kinds of things, they're going to start to charge you extra for those extra features. And that's pretty much across the board. So it just depends on, go look at some of the different website host sites. Squarespace, I think, was one. What were some of the other websites? GoDaddy, all of those other places. And just see which one sort of speaks to you. But you're right. WordPress is free. Well, I think all of them have like a free, like an entry level sort of website sort of thing. Gary Micheloni says, Fiverr allows a brief introductory video now, so take advantage of it. Unfortunately, 60 seconds max is way too short of a time, in my honest opinion. Fiverr, every time that I've uploaded a video of any type to Fiverr, it just, the audio does not come out right. And I think I don't want that compressed audio to be representative of my voice. So I don't use the video features, but you're right. There is an intro video that you can use on Fiverr. Fiber Jazz says, thanks, Caesar. MG Stevens says, thanks, Fiber Jazz. Isaac says, in the words of Snidely Whiplash, I love to lurk. It is so me. Yes. JCCAOL says, also, I'm hoping to join your VO group at some point in October. I could not think of a better month, Angela, if you know what I mean. Well, we'd love to have you, JCCAOL. AM, has the growing popularity of AI narration impacted you as a VO? Not really. Not really. Writer Dude says to VoiceOverAngela, I think when Phil was talking about Caesar making him drool, he was talking about the steak and egg. Yeah. Yeah, I'm late to the party. Caesar says to Fiber Jazz, happy to help. Dwight says, Caesar, the one thing I am doing while doing the nursemaid thing is cooking. Last night, baked chicken in the adobo marsala spice mixture of my own making. The fam loved it. Oh, I haven't eaten anything today. Don't make me hungry. My stomach to growl. MGC Stevens to Fiber Jazz, a little smiley face. Caesar says to Writer Dude, shh, I'll just make him drool again. Bear338 says, so glad I finally made it to a live chat. Well, we're glad you're here, Bear338. I'm measuring my recording space, then going with PVC frame and moving blankets. I've been sponging for about 6 weeks now, fumbling forward. Good for you. It doesn't matter if you're crawling or fumbling or just walking, sprinting, whatever it is, as long as it's the forward motion, right? Baby steps, it doesn't matter. As long as you're moving forward, that's progress. Do it. Caesar says, rein yourself in, Caesar. Rein yourself in, Caesar. Fire Jazz says, Tony Voice, yes, yes, yes. Great advice. Absolutely. Diane Ellis says, good afternoon. I'm just joining, so I missed most of the questions and answers, but I could always replay, I hope. Yes, this will be on replay later. Absolutely. Glad you're here, though, Diane. MG Stevens says to Lorraine Arams, I am using Squarespace and I love it. There is a cost, but I waited until they offered a great deal. There you go. Patience is key, right? They make it easy, offer free courses, and there are tons of options. Yeah, most of these websites I find have templates that you can choose from to make it really just really easy. You just have to choose a template, a layout and a color palette you like, and they just go, okay, insert title here. So you just insert your title, insert picture here. Okay, upload a picture. I mean, they make it really step by step, really easy for website design. Joy says, I admit I thought having social media business pages were enough, but after Angela said that your website was something that belongs to me, I agree. I'm working on getting my own out there. Good. I think you should, Joy. For sure. Because when you're driving, when you have all these eyeballs, once you work so hard on building your social media presence, but you need for somewhere for them to go. You want to drive traffic to that website with your social media pages, right? So have somewhere for them to go and to contact you if they can't through social, because you can't through all of them, right? Absolutely. Oh, we got a super chat. Hold on. Sean Lester. Thank you, Sean. Have you found yourself accumulating equipment and toys for VO? When do you get rid of some stuff? I am not one that tends to let stuff pile up. I'm a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Frugal? Practical? I don't like to have just a bunch of stuff, right? Says the person with Funko Pops and stuff. They make me happy. But no, I have a couple of microphones that interface, my old interface I kept because I wanted to have backup equipment. Anything above and beyond that, I think is just unnecessary. Unless you like it, like if you're like Caesar and like to have a collection of microphones, then that's up to you. But I don't think I have an overabundance of just, stuff to collect or things like that. And if you have too much, then sell it. A brand new voice artist might love to have it secondhand because as you know, in the beginning, there's not a whole lot of money to get started with this. So you might be doing someone a favor by offering something that they were looking for or that they wanted, secondhand, buy it from you. But yes, I have sold some stuff before. You got so many comments. Oh, where did I leave off? I think we were Spoolstead. Currently in college, have done multiple speeches via video online school. My mentor said that I should do voiceovers. I talked to family and friends. They agree to have a small income during school. For sure. Get into it. Again, this is not something that you could just jump into and expect to make money right away. This takes training and commitment because of your recording space and the equipment, and you're learning your jaw. This is something that takes a strong why to see some success in, for sure. This isn't, like drop shipping where you can kind of pick it up, and this takes a little bit of commitment. I say do it if you're serious about it, for sure. But you're going to have a place in your, and I don't know if you're at home or in a dorm or something, but you're going to have a space to commit to creating a treated recording space for it, right? For school. Jay Spa says, okay, I'll take a look. Thanks. Gary Micheloni says, I broke into the movies this week, sort of. Actually, it was a 15-second piece for a USC film school student project for almost no money. But still, it adds to my stats on Fiverr. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I've done similar stuff, so I get it. But for sure, yeah, get that social proof. You need the social proof on those websites. Joy says, I love Logitech cameras. Same, girl. That's all I've ever had. I have a Logitech I have a Logitech mouse. I have a Logitech keyboard. Logitech everything. Fiber Jazz to Bear 338, welcome. Exciting that you were working on treatment for your recording space. Take your time with it. Do a lot of testing, right? Do test recordings to listen back and see the improvement or if there's anything else you need to add or change. Writer Dude says to Caesar, "You have reminded me how much I love to do video audio editing. It's been years, only did some very basic stuff, but the idea is much less intimidating." Caesar says to Writer Dude, "Try getting into it again if you're up for it. Editing and DAW applications these days are incredibly streamlined, incredibly powerful, and very user friendly." hmm Dwight says, "My pro headshot was taken 13 years and 85 pounds heavier ago. I'm still losing weight and don't want to spend more money when it will need to be taken again in a few months. Just take it with your phone." Just take it with your phone, Dwight. Don't overthink it. Rich is here. Hey, Rich. Number one, read VO business books to learn the business. Number two, create recording space. Number three, learn VO editing so you can create a product. Number four, book time one-on-one with Angela for accountability and advice. Number five, free sites. Thank you, Rich. That is one way to do it for sure. Reading books is definitely something that I will echo because there's so much information out there from so many different levels of experience and perspectives, right? So definitely read, soak it all in, be a sponge, soak it all in. Thank you, Rich. Fiber Jazz says to Gary Micheloni, "That is so fantastic." I think so too. Glowin says, "When doing up an audition, let's say for an instructional narration, should I use or not use a background music?" No, no, no. Don't add. I've never added sound effects or music to an audition. Not once. Not unless they ask for it. Or if they're I still wouldn't. I still wouldn't. Dwight says, "Stick with what you got cheap until you can afford to upgrade." Absolutely. Fiber Jazz is giving Joy the thumbs up. Lorraine Aram says, "Use the one social media you like, perfect it, and then move on to another you love. Otherwise, discouragement comes quickly," for sure. And with social media, I find and I've heard and I've seen that you might do a lot better on one platform versus another, right? So you might find that you get a lot more return on your time on TikTok than you do versus Twitter or, whatever, for sure. Joy West to Fiber Jazz. What's up? Fiber Jazz to Glowin. "I would not use music or sound effects for an audition. I want just my voice to shine." Very well said, Fiber Jazz. Gratitude to Dwight, right there with you. "My last pro headshot was 11 years ago and 80 pounds ago when I had one hell of a lot less gray hair. Not going to the expense until the cost is inconsequential, or just take the picture with your phone. Phone cameras are crazy good." Glowin says thanks. Fiber Jazz to Lorraine. "I like that advice. Good to do one thing and do it well before spreading yourself too thin and not taking the time to know the audience on each site and what they value in members." Yep. Good points. Good points. Joey says, "That's a great idea. And I'm going to use that for the samples on my website. One without music and one with music, or just probably without. Or with both. Why not?" Diane Ellis says, "I'm so happy to be part of this QA. I wanted to voice over for a long, long time, but I did not know where to start." Well, I hope all of the comments and chit chat today has helped you sort of define your path or where the starting line is for you. Lorraine says, "I'm glad I found you. You're so authentic and natural, learning a lot from your videos." Well, thank you. I hope you're talking about me. If you are, thank you. I try. I mean, we're real humans. Let's just be real. Let's just talk about it, right? Let's just be real people. Voiceover Van Deen says, "Evening all, late to the party today, but out for the walk in the sun, for a walk in the sun." That sounds lovely. It sounds lovely. Voiceover Van Deen. Diane Ellis says, "Do you do training classes for beginner VO?" Great advice, everyone. Me, I have my platinum group where we meet every week and practice scripts and do fun things like the Wheel of Emotions. We do mock auditions. We have all kinds of fun. We meet every week. I do one-on-one sessions I also have mentorship programs where you can meet with me once a week for a month or 3 months, however you wanna do it. But I don't have, like, classes per se. I sort of have a lot of different options because people like to learn a lot of different ways or to, get information a lot of different ways. So, I have those, I suppose. But I hate talking about myself like that, and I'm not yeah, I hate marketing myself, makes me uncomfortable. See? Introvert. Caesar says, "Have you found yourself accumulating equipment and toys for VO?" Oh, ask me. The answer is yes. We all know that, Caesar. Glowen says to Diane, "Yes, she does. It's her platinum group every Thursday night." Mhm. We have a lot of fun in platinum. Dwight says, "As I research website hosting companies, I have seen WordPress, but don't truly know what it is. Heard pros and cons of using WordPress. Thoughts? I have not used WordPress either, but if I'm correct, you should have a little bit of experience with building websites. It's a little bit more I think technical, involved. Wix for me was like choose a template, fill in the blanks. It was super simple, but WordPress gives you more flexibility in what you can do with it, what you build with it. I personally wouldn't use it. It's way too complicated for me. It's a way above my pay grade. Caesar says, "When do you get rid of some stuff?" What a preposterous idea. When I hit it big, I'm going to build a throne made of microphones. LOL, Caesar. Yes, I'm picturing like a Game of Thrones, like the Iron Throne, but it's the microphone throne. Tony's voice says to Fiber Jazz, thanks. Caesar said I'd call it a game of phones. Fiber Jazz says at a crown too, Caesar. Oh my gosh. I'm getting these mental images. It's so hilarious. Caesar says to Fiber Jazz, excellent suggestion. The crown jewel shall be a Neumann badge. Spool's dad says, I'm all about it. I was just letting you know how I got introduced into this. Sorry I couldn't pull a full thought into that comment. Join the club. I can't I can't half the time get my comments to make sense and see dot dot dot. Gary Micheloni says, you can do an acceptable headshot with a cell phone. Pose outdoors, cloudy day, no shadows, use a plain background like the wall of your home or apartment. Good enough. Make 20 takes if you like. Yeah, for sure. Just sit there with your phone and just take pictures of yourself. Come on. And we have filters, you know? Do it. Lorraine says, I'm glad you said what you did about music. Music is so annoying when you try to listen. And yes, I was talking about you. Uh, yeah, I don't personally use music and sound effects in my demos. I have a couple times, but I generally don't. Caesar says you can also do an acceptable headshot with a stop. Stop it, Caesar. Diane says, I am in Fort Lauderdale. Where are you located? How can I be part of those groups if it's no problem to you? I'm in Arizona. Not most, all of these meetups, whether it be platinum, one-to-one, mentorship, they're all via Zoom. They're all online. So it doesn't matter where you are. We can hook up. Lorraine says, introverts make the best entrepreneurs because they have the patience and are very methodical, especially in this wild environment. I would agree. Introverts unite. Barb Cam says, how do you feel about watermarks on auditions? Oh, that's a good question, especially now that you can, with the whole AI thing, being able to take your voice from just a short clip. It's something that definitely deserves a conversation. I think from a client's perspective, it might be annoying or distracting or unsettling to have like a beep or however you decide to watermark it. It might be, they might get offended that you did that. But I mean, again, we have to protect ourselves. So, I mean, that's something that deserves a conversation. I think I'm going to write that down. I think that's something we should definitely talk about and get a group consensus on because jury's out for me. I can see the benefits of both sides for sure. but I don't personally watermark, but I think sometime in the near future, we probably should, right? VoiceOver Van Deen says WordPress is easier now than it has ever been. Google loves it, and it means you can switch your site to a different hosting company further down the line. Wix, Daddy, etc. builders lock you into their platform. That is true. That is true. Thank you for mentioning that. VoiceOver Van Deen. George Pinto says, "Hi, Angela. Best from Portugal. Any referral for great course in VO? Not too long or expensive. Thank you for your inputs." I lived in Lisboa for about 3 months. Loved it. If you're looking for training courses or academies or things like that, I can't recommend my friend Anthony Pica enough. He's got an academy on his website. If you go to vosjourney.com, he's got a lot of great courses there. I have a couple, but I have a few that have been in like limbo for a while because I'm trying to revise them and stuff. But if you're looking for something right now, he's got a slew of different types of courses and programs that are available right now that are very reasonable in pricing. Joy says, "I currently use WordPress. The good thing is there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube for those interested in dipping their toes in it." Well, there you go. Check out WordPress, y'all. Dwight says, "Originally, Angela accidentally found you. I thought you were Bill DeWeese's daughter." That's right. I forgot about that. "Love both of you, but your style is in line with the creative part of my brain. Bill's the other side." Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that. Bear338 says, "Yes, just get started, move forward. I was clueless, still am. Angela unknowingly nudged me forward, and now I can't stop." That's good. If I could be any kind of inspiration, I hope it is for that end point effect. You know what I mean? Good. I'm glad. Just move forward. It doesn't matter how small the steps are, as long as they're forward. That's all that matters. Dude says to Caesar, "Took that turn, LOL, but useful for future reference." Yeah. Gary says to Caesar, "LOL, you just illustrated one of the great benefits of being here live." Caesar, reel yourself in, bro. Fiber Jazz says, "Watermarks can be easily removed. Then there is the question of how you realistically know that someone halfway around the world is violating your watermark and how you are able to enforce it." Yeah, there's definitely something that deserves a conversation. Yep. Caesar says, "Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all day for your humor needs." Mariana Madrid says, "Good morning from Yuma, Arizona. A newbie here, being a sponge for knowledge." Good. That's a good trait to have in the beginning. Just be a sponge. And you will find lots of various differing opinions. You'll have opinions and perspectives from both sides. Do this, don't do this. Listen to it all, because some person that doesn't really say something that you're driving with might still drop some golden nuggets that you can pick up. So take it all in and then make your own decisions on how to move forward with your business, because that's what it is. It's your business, your path, your journey, your decision to make, right? So take it all in, because everyone's got nuggets here and there. Take it all in. Caesar says to Lorraine, "Actually, I agree with you. Extroverts make the worst entrepreneurs because they're chaotic and disorganized and are usually course corrected by an introvert behind the scenes." Yeah, probably. I don't know. Gary says, "Anytime you build a website, make sure you own the asset. You can move it if you need. Buy a domain name, about $12 per year, and it's yours." Very good point. Make sure that you own that asset. Dwayne says to Angela, think of yourself as the great catalyst. You cause things to happen. Keep it up, lady." That's awesome. Well, thank you for that. Angela, the catalyst. Mariana Madrid. Got it. Diane says, "Do you post a link for these Zoom meetings? If you are in my platinum group, then you get an email invite sent to your email address, or you can join via the exclusive web pages available only to you if you're a platinum member. If you sign up for my one-to-one coaching or my mentorship program, then I will email you those invite links directly to you. They're not like posted anywhere for anyone. You have to be part of my inner circle, basically, to get the Zoom meetings. Gary says, Angela the catalyst, Angela the cat herder. It feels that way sometimes, for sure. But you know what? I love getting together with you guys every week. I really appreciate you all taking the time to come together to have these discussions because they're important, right? Not only to figure out ways to move forward or to help the newer folks just joining into this new endeavor, but I think also, as a community, we need to communicate with each other and interact. And because it's kind of lonely sitting in a padded room talking to yourself all day, it gets sort of lonely. So I really love the fact that we are coming together every week. And I'm glad to be and honored to be the host of this little chit chat every week. So I appreciate you all, and I will be back next week. But until then, everybody keep up the good work. Keep moving forward. It doesn't matter how many microphones you own, as long as you move forward, right? Bye, guys.